Hello, you guys. I was asked to participate in a collaboration which is hosted by Amanda of Frugal Family Food and Tangi from Freedom Homestead. And they have a monthly collaboration, which this month, for the month of September, consisted of the word harvest. And what does that mean? Food that you've raised and grown or preserved or brought to the kitchen and from that point created into the most delicious food item for your family, which is right up my alley. I couldn't have asked for a better opportunity or a great theme to actually be invited to. So with that said, I am preparing a pretty heavy course for you guys, and I hope you enjoy it. Most of the recipes can be found on our website. I still have to write up a few of them, but I will come back and relink those for you at the bottom. Make sure you check out the description and you can get all the links for who hosted this event, who are the participants in this event, and recipes that I'm actually mentioning here. So with that said, this dinner plan here consists of homemade dinner rolls, scotch eggs, roasted radishes, and homegrown potatoes fried in bacon grease. And for dessert, we threw in an old-fashioned egg custard pie. I know it's kind of heavy, but again, you don't have to make these every single night or even in one course, but these are foods that my family absolutely adores and loves, and they're healthy. And there's no way that I can give them anything that's healthier than this. So sit back, enjoy it, and make sure you take a look at the descriptions below once this video ends, and you can see all the links that you're going to need to move forward with who's next on the collaboration list, who went before me, and then again, our great hosts, Tangi and Amanda, and all the sites that they have here on YouTube as well as on Facebook and their websites as well too. So thanks again for the invite, and I hope you enjoy our family dinner. The first thing we're going to talk about is homemade bread, because there's nothing better than homemade bread. So with that said, we're going to be using our KitchenAid mixer for this project because it just makes it so much easier. The ingredients for the perfect homemade roll consist of a few simple things, and that's it. It's going to be flour, milk, butter, salt, sugar, and yeast and eggs. That's it. That's all it's going to take. We use our KitchenAid mixer to mix everything in together, and then from there we allow it to rise for 30 minutes. Once it has spent that much time rising, we'll go ahead and beat it down to get all the air out of it, and then we divide it up into segments. So the segments will weigh about 2 ounces each, and then we're placing those segments into a lightly greased cast iron pot, and then we're just layering the cast iron pot with it. The rolls actually will bake for about 15 minutes at 375 degrees. And I like to take a little melted butter and actually put them on top to give that beautiful browning effect on top of them. If you notice that they're browning a little too quickly compared to how the rolls are cooking, grab a piece of parchment paper and lay it right on top of that to help it prevent it from burning actually. The recipe for this is going to be up on our website soon, probably within the next couple of days, but I will come back and link it here for you guys so you know what the ingredients is. So when you make scotch eggs, you have to do it in phases. And the first phase is to actually go ahead and steam your eggs. And I mean steam because they're farm fresh. They were laid that day and then we're using them for dinner. And if you know anything about eggs, farm fresh eggs do not boil very easily, especially if you're using them within a couple hours of being laid. So what you need to do is get out a nice big pot, a deep pot, and then a colander and some water. Once your water has been brought to a boil, you're going to go ahead and add your eggs to that point. Allow them to steam for 21 minutes, and that's going to be with the lid on. So set your timer for 21 minutes and let them go. They don't need to be steamed any longer than 21 minutes. Keep that in mind as you're going to do it. That's going to give you the perfect hard-boiled egg, and that's exactly what you need for this project. For those of you who don't know what scotch eggs are, let me explain it to you real quick. So it's basically a hard-boiled egg that's encased in sausage. And so from that point, it looks like a meatball. It's absolutely delicious. It's very filling, and it's something that you guys are going to want to consume from this moment going on. The great thing about this is that these can be made in advance and frozen and pulled out of the freezer to be made for an easy meal going forward from this point. So if you've never made them before, this is a great opportunity for you to give them a try. Sausage casing is going to be ground sausage. Now we use a pasture-raised ground Italian blend sausage from a friend's farm, and then we added to it as well too. We added a little bit of extra Italian seasoning mix that we make from the herbs in our garden. We dry and then we make it, and then on top of that you're going to need binding elements. So eggs, for example, is a binding element, and then on the next binding element is going to be some kind of breadcrumb. We like to use panko because it's actually available here for us, and panko is something that you use to make tempura with if you've ever eaten at a Japanese restaurant. But you don't have to use panko. You can go ahead and use any kind of breadcrumb and just go forward with that. If you're making your own breadcrumb, if you're buying it, just go ahead and grind it to a small, fine finish and then mix it in there. You're gonna take your sausage and your eggs and your breadcrumb of some sort, and you're just gonna give it a good mix. Once all the ingredients are mixed together, you're ready to move on to wrapping your hard-boiled eggs. The next step in making your Scotch meatballs is to go ahead and take your sausage and create a meatball right around your hard-boiled eggs. What you're gonna do is create a flat patty. So you're gonna just pound it in your hands until a patty is made. You then take your hard-boiled egg and put it right in the middle of that patty, and you begin to shape it around your hard-boiled egg. And then you start to just cup them together, you cup your hands together and just pat until a nice round circular meatball is formed. How long it takes to prepare these Scotch eggs in regards to cooking is going to depend on how thick of the sausage that you use to encase your eggs with. Generally, it'll take about 20 to 25 minutes to cook the sausage completely through. Keep in mind that you definitely want to rotate the eggs often, the Scotch eggs often, in order to give an even cooking on the outside. If you just leave them in the oven and just allow them to sit flat, that bottom section there is going to burn a little bit, so you don't want that. So you definitely want to go in there and rotate the eggs as often as possible. So about 20 to 25 minutes is all it's going to take to cook. They're relatively fast to make and prepare, so keep that in mind. However, if you do have a plethora of eggs sitting around, you can pre-make these and freeze them and just vacuum seal them and pull out a meal at a time as you're going forward. That's just great meal planning for you and a great way to use up all those extra eggs. We picked radishes as our vegetable of choice for this because radishes is something that we can grow easily here. We're really cool in mountainside living, and so we don't really have a problem with bolting too much here other than right in the middle, beginning of August time. But once middle August kind of hits, we kind of cool off quite a bit. We went ahead and harvested some fresh rosemary out of the garden to go ahead and partner with this. On top of that, we had some beautiful garlic that was harvested this year, and then some olive oil, and of course a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper. Sometimes I do a pinch too much, but it only makes the dish a lot better. From there, it's just hand tossed and put into the oven and roasted at that point. I did it at 375, the same setting that I had used to do the Scotch eggs with, and you allow them to cook for about, I would say about 20 minutes. It really softens the spicy flavor of the radishes and just gives them just a nice even balance. And the rosemary, oh my gosh, the rosemary just tops it off. Because we were doing this collaboration, we went ahead and pulled up some of our potatoes. You know what, you guys, we had an excellent potato harvest this year, and we're not even done pulling them up yet. I even planted them a month late. I don't know. I was just really busy. But look at this. Look at these beautiful fingerling potatoes that we're able to pull up. So the potatoes are just cooked quite easy. Everything we do is pretty much simple. A little bit of homegrown garlic, slicing up the fingerlings pretty thin on that, and then throwing them into the cast iron with a little bit of bacon grease, well, maybe a lot of bacon grease, and then a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper as well too. Just continue to stir fry them and cover them with a cast iron lid and allow them to cook slowly at that point. So because I had some tomatoes sitting on the counter at that point, I decided to throw them in before they were going to go bad. So I just sliced them up into quarters and I just tossed them in with the potatoes at the last minute, cover it back up with the cast iron lid, and just let them cook down. It was just nice because it was so starchy, and then all of a sudden you had this tomato flavor with garlic on there. Oh my gosh, absolutely delicious. So before I leave you today, I want to talk about the other participants for this amazing collaboration here. Week 1, and you should go back and review his YouTube channel, was M.I. Gardner. Week 2 was myself. Week 3 is Wholesome Roots, so make sure you go to her YouTube channel and subscribe so you can watch what she's got going on. And week 4 is Amy Fuel, the Fuel Homestead, and the founder of Homesteaders of America. So take a look at these YouTube channels, visit them, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give them a good follow as well too. These will all be provided in the links for you. So make sure after you leave this, if you want some recipes and things like that, take a look at the description and follow along. Again, thank you, Amanda and Tangi, for allowing us to participate in this, and we hope to see you guys all again soon.